Hey, today on the roundtable, we've got two great books. First, we're going to take a look at Coronary, which came from our very first episode of Comic Sans.
And then, because we're in the middle of a comic book movie renaissance, we're going to take a look at a Deadpool-related book, Hawkeye vs. Deadpool.
In our utility belt, we're going to discuss our experience with this year's free comic book day.
Don't you know that you're a grown-up? No games, no puns. Not a lot of you are grown-up.
Hey, welcome to GenXGrownUp. I'm George.
Mark.
And I'm Jason.
And we're all Gen X grown-ups. Thanks for clicking on the video. Guys, let's quit wasting time, jump right into episode 8 of Comic Sans.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, right now on the roundtable, we're going to talk about a comic book that we reviewed on our very first issue, or episode rather, of Comic Sans.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Back in the day, my co-host and I, Chris, we reviewed a book called Coronary. This was a great book. It was an independent book out of England. It only had one issue out. The guy since then has come out with a second issue, and he's just got funded on Kickstarter for issue number 3. So that'll be coming out pretty soon as well. You have, slightly in the future, it appears as though things like cosmetic surgery and that kind of stuff is a little bit more easy to get. It's kind of become the norm now. People get cosmetic surgery all the time. And there's these big megalo corporations that kind of handle all that stuff. Just like, you know, we have the giant corporations today handing out stuff. Jason, what did you think about the book? What did you pull out of this?
Well, what stood out to me is at the end of the book is some text pages. And you mentioned this in your first video. The first issue has an interview with one of the main characters.
Right.
And it really kind of gets a little bit more detailed with what's going on. The second issue was interesting because it was a therapy report about one of the characters in the book. What struck me is that it's very reminiscent of a very popular series from the 80s called Watchmen, which is known for, at the end of the issue, text pages that expand the universe of Watchmen. And this was very similar to that, to me.
Mark, what did you think about the couple issues we've had to read?
Yeah, what I liked, there was a lot of visual storytelling, where you just sort of pick up the details from the images themselves. But then there was a lot that sort of gives the book an ominous feel without them really saying it. It starts off with a girl being alone in a subway. There's no one else there, which is a little off-putting. And then the subway is Whitechapel, which is where the Jack the Ripper murders were at. So that makes it a little bit like, well, there could be something wrong here. And then later the girl is picturing, going back in her memory, and there's these photos, little cutouts of people with the eyes and mouths X'd over. And that has sort of a movie serial killer feel.
Sure.
But it could also just be about the fashion industry. So again, is it fashion because the drug itself is killing people?
Right. There's definitely a slow burn, world building kind of feel to these two books. Now that I've had the opportunity to read 2 of them, the third one we should be able to get the script for it soon. I've talked with the author of the book. He plans on there being 12 issues in the entire story. And at the end of this, he's talking about having it broken up into 3 4-issue trades as well. So he's definitely got the whole story arc in mind, which is great. Mark, you're a comic creator. You know that sometimes having a whole arc in your head makes it a little bit easier to move forward as opposed to just writing an open-ended story. What am I going to come up with next month, right? The slow burn and the world building of this so far, maybe it turns some people off a little bit, but I think it's worth it to stick around for this one. So you guys out there, if you're not sure on this one yet, go take a look at it on its Kickstarter page and definitely fund it or order it straight up, either way. All right, guys, that's what we think about Coronary so far, but let's talk about our ratings of this book. Jason, kick us off.
I enjoyed the book. It is a slow burn, as you said, but it's still striking, intriguing, and the reminiscent to Watchmen makes it enjoyable. Right now, though, I give it 3.5 tokens. I want to see where it goes.
Fair enough. Mark?
Yeah, and I give it 4 tokens.
Wow, 4 tokens. Nice.
Yeah, I really like the alternative stories that I'm getting out of independent guys, where I'm getting, it's normal people, and it's got a mystery about a deadly beauty drug, and I don't get to read that every day.
Right.
So I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoy getting different ideas, and for that reason, 4 tokens.
There you go. Well, I'm going to jump up and give it 4.25 tokens, guys.
Wow.
I mean, I think this book, it's exactly what I want out of the independent scene. It's got the unique story that you don't get from Marvel or DC, right? And tying back to the Watchmen,
Right.
you know, anytime you put yourself in that company, that's a great thing as far as I'm concerned. So there you guys have it. That's our review of Coronary. On the Comic Roundtable right now, we're going to talk about a little series based kind of related to a movie that's coming out this
That indie
weekend.
film you told me about.
Yeah, that independent. You know, we love independent
We
films,
do.
right? So
About
now,
people dying in a pool.
it is people dying in a pool.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
So no, we're not talking about Swim Fan. We're talking about Deadpool. And this particular book is Hawkeye versus Deadpool. We found this thanks to Mark. You brought this one to our attention. It's
I'm
one
a
of your
fan
favorites,
of the book.
right?
It's a lot of fun.
Basically, Hawkeye and Deadpool end up teaming up because some baddie out there has stolen a big list of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents out there, right?
Yep.
Jason, tell us what you pulled out of the series, though.
So, one thing that stood out were the two artists.
Okay.
Matteo Lolli and Jacopo Camegni.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I butchered your name. They both do the book, and it goes pretty well, but about issue 2, I noticed that they have distinct styles when it comes to faces and the character design.
Okay.
Matteo's is very good, and the other one is good too. It took me out of the book a little bit, and it's within the same issue. You page, then turn a couple pages, and it's like, whoa, they look totally different. So you had more traditional comic style, and the other one looked a little more anime style to me.
Mark, tell me a little bit about what you, because I know you're a big fan of this series. Tell us your insights.
I mean, I reread it and I was giggling. Jason heard me laughing out loud several times as I was going back through it because I like all the little just zany things that pop up. Like, they're not really important to the story. It's just funny little things they say, things happening in the background. There was a mention of like Big Pun's dead. And he was talking about a guy in a Punisher outfit, but I'm thinking back to the 90s rapper. And then shortly thereafter, Deadpool's like, well, you guys want me to just mail you bullets? I mean, how are you going to know which one's from this night? And they're like, do you get shot a lot? And he's like, the only guy that gets shot more than me is 50 Cent.
Right.
You know, a lot of those pop culture references. There's a Scooby-Doo reference.
Yeah.
They get around to the like, wait, Hawkeye, you have a sky cycle? Why is that not what we're doing right now? You know, if I had a sky cycle, that's how I would be getting around New York. And so they go to the storage unit, he brings the sky cycle back, does a drive-by in the air.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, when you're talking Deadpool, you've got to talk comedy. In this one of my favorite jokes, one of the things that I pulled out of the series, and this is really silly, but they have this whole running gag. And I love how they do that in the series. It runs throughout the whole 6 issues of Hawkeye giving out fun-sized candy bars versus regular-sized candy bars. I mean, they take it so far that even when they're looking over the first dead body in the first issue, they're looking over the body and they're like, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. And this little kid who's still trick-or-treating on Halloween, because it's when this takes place, he walks up and he's like, do you have any of the full-size candy bars left, mister? And like, he's Hawkeye. He's got a dead person in front of him, but this kid's still asking him that. I'm like, that caught me off guard. That was really fun. Jason, kick us off with the ratings. What'd you think?
So it was a fun, sort of a kind of buddy comedy. A little bit. It was enjoyable, but it's still kind of a standard superhero story for me.
Okay.
I give it 3 tokens.
All right, fair enough. Mark, I got a feeling I know where this is going for you. It's going to be like in the half a token range, maybe?
Oh, yeah, so far down there. No, it's another 4 for me because I like Hawkeye. I've read some of his book. I like Deadpool. I think they're a fun team up.
Right.
So I enjoyed the book. I got a lot of laughs out of it.
So 4 tokens?
4 tokens, I definitely recommend.
Wow. All right, well, I think I'm going to split the difference here. I was originally going with 3 tokens. When I first read it, I guess I didn't get a lot of that fourth wall breaking kind of stuff that I kind of expected after the first movie.
Yeah.
But I went back and reread it again because we talked about it a little bit, and I said, well, let me go back and reread it just to give it a second chance. When I did the reread, it was a lot funnier to me the second time around. So maybe it's like going out and watching one of those movies that just hits you with a bunch of stuff. Maybe the reread is a similar thing. You have to read it twice in order to get that feel of this book. So I'm going to go 3 3/4 tokens, I think. Just slightly under your 4. But, I still think it was great. You're right, they're a great team up.
Yeah.
And if you guys are going to go watch Deadpool 2, which I kind of got a feeling if you're watching this episode, you're probably going to go watch Deadpool 2. Definitely pick up this series. They've got trade paper books on Amazon that you can grab of it. Check out your local comic book store in case you can't find it there. And it's on Comixology as well.
It is.
So that's our review of Hawkeye versus Deadpool.
You utility belt last month, we talked about Free Comic Book Day, a
We
little
did.
preview, teaser. So this time, we're going to talk about our review and experience at this year's Free Comic Book Day.
Cool.
So guys, one thing that I noticed was that there's a variety of comic books available for everybody.
As you can tell by our
yes,
wall.
you see the wall. I mean, there was Nightmare Before Christmas, all the way to Spider-Man, Transformers. There was even a Tank Girl comic.
Yeah.
Mark, tell us about your Free Comic Book
Yeah,
Day.
so I was posted up at Fallout doing book signing,
Fallout Comics, Tallahassee, Florida.
which was a lot of fun, and it was great because when the doors opened, I finally had that convention-like experience I'd been waiting for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like the doors open and people just flooded in, trying to get that book they really wanted before it ran out.
Right.
They had a giant line, and then after people had grabbed their Free Comic Book Day stuff, a lot of them came over and checked out what I was doing and what the other artist there was doing. So
Guano guy.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. I loved how many people were there, how excited they were. It was huge.
George, I know you're new to Free Comic Book Day. What'd you think?
This was my first Free Comic Book Day. We went to Fallout. The thing that I took away the most, though, was that the people were all communicating with each other.
Right.
They were all like pointing out stuff and talking with each other. People were talking with me in line and stuff, you know, because I had to buy some stuff. You know,
yeah.
You're not going to walk away from Free Comic Book Day without buying something.
Right.
You know, you don't have to. It's
No.
Free Comic Book Day. I did find it interesting that Fallout, they had a big long table, double-sided with
Yeah.
all the books, and you got to pick three.
Right.
At Bookshelf 2, they had the books already pre-bagged by age group. I don't know which one I prefer. I think I maybe kind of like the long buffet line. That was kind of cool. Just seeing all the different
Right.
covers, that was really nice. I think Free Comic Book Day is on my list from now on.
I love it. Every year, it's on the calendar for me. If you missed it this year, first Saturday in May next year, check it out.
There you go. That's Free Comic Book Day. Mark, I enjoyed it. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me again.
Awesome. Jason,
Oh, my pleasure.
always fun to have you here. Guys, that was a great episode of Comic Sans. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Don't you know that you're a grown up?
Subscribe to Gen X Grown Up by clicking right here and enable notifications so you won't miss a thing. Use the comments down below to tell us what you think, and while you're there, a thumbs up would be great too. Please share this online wherever you hang out. Connect with GXG on social networks by clicking right here.
Basically, life sucks as a grown up.